Hello, I'm Scott Jarvis, Superintendent of Macon County R1 School District. I want to take a few moments to go over a ballot issue that we're going to be running as a school district November 7th of this year. We will be asking the public on that ballot issue to vote for a 39-cent increase in our tax levy. The purpose and what we're looking at doing is we're looking at 15 classrooms and a new library. So we would like to add an addition separate from, not attached to the building, but on the south side of our existing building. We feel a new building would be more secure, more energy efficient than the current building we have. The other thing I think is important to realize, the Board of Education, myself and others have discussed previous ballot issues. We realize and we've listened to the people. The principal and interest on this ballot issue is $11 million less than the ballot issue that was ran before. The tax levy is 50 cents less than the ballot issue ran before. One of the big items on the last ballot issue that there was not a sunset date. This issue has a 15-year sunset date and it's over 2032. So when they say, will the tax go away? This tax will go away 2032. The only way that the tax could continue is we'd have to come back to the public just like we are now, and the public would have to vote for it. So sunset means it will go away. I also want to make sure that everybody understands the cost of this project, total cost. We're looking at $4,250,000. That's principal. That's what we're going to borrow to build this building and finish this project. Just like anything else, when you borrow money, you have to pay interest. The interest on this project right now is $1,665,000. Total interest and principal will be $5,915,000. The previous ballot issue, if you had the principal and interest, it was almost $17 million. So we've reduced this significantly. We understand this is the taxpayers' money, and we should be spending it how the taxpayers ask us to spend it. The other thing that I would like to do on this project is, if the building is successful and we pass this ballot issue and we have funds available at the end of the building project, I would like to put a new student pickup drop-off area on the south side of the existing elementary building. In the morning and afternoon when you come to Macon campus, this front entrance out here is congested. You got people and cars all over the place, and we're hoping that by doing that it'd be much safer, it'd be more accessible, and it'd be easier for parents of elementary students to pick up their kids and drop them off. So that's a big want, a desire that I have, so I hope that we can get that done. The other thing about this new building that I'm proposing to build, I want it to be a standalone building. I do not want it to be attached to the current building. The main building was built in '52, it's 65 years old, and it's had some additions. Anytime that you would build a building and you would attach that to an existing building, it's going to cost you more because you do not know what change orders you may have when you attach those buildings. So we want it to be a standalone building, and it will have an enclosed corridor attaching it to the building we have now. This would also allow us to remove the trailer that we purchased in the 1990s, and we currently have 2 classrooms in there, and we would get rid of that. Everybody wants to know, what would you do with the classroom space? I would move the 4th and 5th grade classrooms that we currently have in the Butler building that was built in 1971. I would put those in a new addition. I would then also move the 3rd grade classrooms in our old building now and put them in that new space. So you would have 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in the new structure. I still want to keep the elementary, the kindergarten and the 1st graders close to the principal's office, the nurse's office, and up front. Our elementary building right now is a K-5 Title I building. That means we provide federal reading sources to all the kids that need that in our district K through 5. The classrooms that we currently use for our title are not much bigger than a big walk-in closet. A lot of times I'll walk down the hallway and we'll have kids on tables in the hallways being instructed by their teachers. Hopefully what we would do is we'd free up some space in that old 3rd grade hallway, and we can move some title classes possibly in there. We also have a huge need in special education. Right now, currently approximately 12% of our students receive some type of special ed services, either special ed or speech. We need to have some additional space there in special ed, so hopefully we could use some of that existing space that's vacated from the other classes. Our speech program, we service kids in the community. We service kids that are not even enrolled in our district at this time. I would like to put them up front where the old Title I rooms would be, which would make it much more accessible for people in the community to pick up, drop off their special ed, or not their special ed, but their speech kids in the front. We also do keyboarding. We provide keyboarding classes for the students in the elementary. When I go to elementary and I walk to the cafeteria in the morning, our kids are out there on the cafeteria tables working on their keyboarding. It's not the best, it will suffice, but it's definitely not the best for learning, people walking in and out. I would like to be able to put the keyboarding class in a regular classroom to another location. As I said earlier, the trailer would be removed. The third grade classroom that's in there right now would go into the new building. The other thing that we have on our campus now is our early childhood special ed program. This house is special ed kids with serious needs, and the ages from 3 to 5. This was previously on our south campus, off-campus building. We no longer have that. That program is in our trailer, and they have a much smaller space. What I'd like to do with the old library, if we get to build a new one, is I would put my early childhood special education program there. Some of these kids need wheelchairs, different things to move around. This would give us great access to the front. Parents could come pick them up before the buses. It would not be a traffic problem. We also have a vacated space between the elementary building and the cafeteria, or the elementary library, the current elementary library and the cafeteria. I would like to take that, if this all comes true, and I'd like to make that into a playground for our early childhood special ed program. Great access, it's secure, they can walk right out of their building or their classroom and go to that playground. Those are some things that I'm seeing as far as changes that I would make in our classrooms. The other question is what would you do with the Butler building? Butler building was built in 1971. I'm not for sure if it was meant to be a permanent structure or not, but it's been a good structure, it's lasted a while. What I would like to do is I would like to move the middle school classes that are in the high school to the west side of the Butler building. And then that would allow them to be a little bit closer to the middle school principal and their other classes. It would also free up the high school classrooms where they can move out of the career center. The remaining portion of the Butler building I would repurpose. It's a big structure. I would go in, a lot of the walls that are in there are not load-bearing walls. And what I would like to do, and this would be something that we would not use the ballot issue money to fund. This is something that we would budget through our normal budget process at school. And what I'd like to do is go in there and I'd like to tear those non-load-bearing walls down. I'd like to open it up. It would be similar to the Macon Expo Center, but not near as big. But it would also give us twice the space in there as what we have in our current middle school gymnasium. It would give our elementary kids a place to have an assembly in their own building. It would give them a place to have PTO events, dances, things like that as an elementary, and it would be in their building. When I look at approximate cost, I think this is under $200,000 project. No frills, no thrills. You know, we're talking about a concrete floor, tile floor. This is not a $3 million gym. This is using what we already have and repurposing it to meet the needs that we need. We also have middle school PE meets every other day because they don't have space. Maybe this would allow us to have middle school PE every day. That would help with our scheduling situation. It would get the kids an activity every day. We have morning practices and evening practices in middle school basketball. Maybe this additional space could help parents. You wouldn't be getting up at 5 in the morning and taking your kids to practice. Maybe we could get it to where it would be in the afternoon, which would be better for everybody there. The school board also voted to start a wrestling program. Right now, this is our second year, and our wrestling program is being, the practice is off campus. It's not in one of our own buildings. I feel if we're going to have our own activities, we need to have our own space for them. This would be an area also that the wrestler could use to have practice, and we can move them on campus. So as far as the Butler building, it's not a $3 million gym, never will be, and that's not the purpose. It's not something that we would play basketball in, and I realize I may not supposed to use the word gym, but what I'm telling you, what we would do is repurpose this. This would be a multi-purpose area, place for practices, assemblies, PTO, and I'm not looking at it as a competition type gym. And this is something that school could pay for a whole lot less than whatever we proposed in the previous time. At the end of it, the bottom line, it's your money, and we need to look at how we would spend our money. If it was me, I would want the biggest bang for my buck. What we're trying to do now is reduce the cost, reduce the scope, target the thing that we really feel we need the most, and that's what we're going for. You know, at the end of the day, we should always ask, whose money is it? It's not my money, it's the taxpayers' money, and it's my job to make sure it's spent the best that it can be spent. Thank you for the time.